Good morning, River House. It's Pastor Robin, and I'm here to share something with you. As a lot of you know, a few years ago, I had a health crisis, and I ended up going away for 5 weeks, and I was alone with God. And when I was so excited to get there, but then once I was there, I was afraid. I didn't know what to do with myself. I had been used to waking up every morning with so much pressure and so many things I had to get done and people I needed to call that I never had time to really even process where I was. And now all of a sudden, here I am, and I am completely alone, and I realized that I was numb. My heart had grown numb, and I couldn't even connect with God, and was definitely not connected with myself. And so I'll never forget the first day. There was a little chair in my little house I had rented, and I turned that chair towards me, and I sat next to it, and I pictured, with the best of my imagination, I pictured Jesus sitting in that chair, and I just sat in front of him. And in the beginning, I heard nothing, and I felt nothing. But day after day, I just sat there in his presence, and I just said, Lord, there is so many things that I can say, but it's not going to make much of a difference. What I need right now is I need to hear from you. And I know that there are a lot of you out there who are in the same situation that I was in, and that you too are desperate to hear from the Lord. And you want to hear from him, but just sometimes you just can't seem to connect. And so I would encourage you to do what I did. Turn a chair and literally picture Jesus sitting there and just sit and ask him, Lord, what do you want to say to me? What is it that I need to hear from you? Because in a crazy world where there's so many unknowns, if there's one voice that we need to hear, it's the voice of the Lord, the one who knows us best and loves us most. And I can tell you that I began to come back to life again. I started stepping into miracles happening. I was in a jacuzzi once and ended up leading the entire group of people to the Lord because I could hear God's voice so clearly. And this is weeks after I sat in front of him and heard nothing. And so if you want to hear from him, he says, just come, be still and know that I am God. He says, come and sit at my feet and soak up every word that comes out of my mouth. And when we do that, something begins to happen inside of us. We come back to life again. We begin to not only connect with God, but we begin to connect with our own heart. And I can tell you that during this whole time with the virus, it has been a scary time for a lot of us. But the truth is what the enemy has intended for harm, God is using for good. Because I feel today just like I felt a few years ago. I told the Lord when I was leaving that 5 weeks, and I said, God, this is one of the greatest gifts that you have ever given me, because it changed my life. It changed the direction of where I was heading. It changed my pace. And I said to the Lord a few days ago, I said, God, I feel the same way today that I did then. I feel like this is a gift. And even though there are a lot of things going on around us that are not good, I believe that God is giving us an opportunity to reconnect with his voice. I think he's giving us all a reset so that we can connect with the people that we love the most. We can actually start, instead of doing for the Lord, we can start being with him. And we can begin to come into this pace with him that we were created to live in every day. And that is a lifestyle of peace, of true peace that surpasses understanding, that will guard our hearts and guard our minds every single day, no matter what is going on around us. So church, I encourage you to find your chair, turn it around, and picture Jesus sitting there and ask him, what is it that you want to say to me? Because I am now finally still, and I want to hear everything that you have to say. So Lord, bless us and keep us quiet so that we can step into the rhythm that you have for us to live in.